Welcome to A Woman's World. Today's issue will explore the world of working mothers who have to balance their responsibilities to the family and to their careers without one suffering for the other. Many will tell you just how much of a Herculean task this is.
It is barely morning, but Rachel Martins has been awake for hours now. There's a lot to do before she leaves the house with her 6-year-old daughter at 7 a.m. Now that she's done with her chores and dressed for work, Rachel needs to get Ayo ready as well. She's running late as it is.
I didn't find it easy at all. Rushing out to the kitchen in the morning, get the children prepared for school, and at the same time I'll prepare myself to go to work. This was very stressful, so it was God that helped me. When I was rushing to the kitchen, at the same time I'll be ironing the clothes, I'll be arranging the house at the same time. It was very stressful, but God really helped me.
With Ayo now in school, Rachel can get to work. At the close of day, Ayo's dad will pick her up from school. This is a huge relief for Rachel, who has to work till late. Single mother Ruby Eto isn't so fortunate. After going through the same morning rituals as Rachel, she has to leave work in the afternoon to go pick up her child from school with no external help.
Are you serious?
Ruby is grateful that her organization allows her bring her 7-year-old daughter to work.
When I'm interviewing for a job, first thing while we're negotiating, I try to tell my prospective employer that I have a child and how flexible would my hours be. You know, again, because my situation is peculiar, I try to, let the prospective employer know or ask permission that would she be able to be coming here after her school hours. So I always bring that out in the beginning. So many times in the past, when she was quite little, I took up teaching jobs. Not that I couldn't have had maybe bigger career jobs, but teaching made me, availed me the time to close early. I was able to close early, say by 3, 4, and pick her up and all that.
In a bid to strike a balance between being a mother and a dedicated employee, Ruby tries to spend some time helping Rena with her homework and still focus on getting her own work done.
I see a lot of working mothers who are in jobs where they have to get back home late at night, and maybe they leave a lot of their mothering to house helps and relatives. So I advise that women try to get jobs that are quite flexible, and if you're a single mom, be honest upfront to your prospective employer about your situation. Again, try to get a school or get an arrangement that is convenient and safe for the child. Sometimes, okay, you have school buses. The school bus system is helpful, but you have to have reliable people at home waiting to pick up the children from the school bus, and then try to ensure that they are safe at home so they don't have maybe domestic accidents or sexual abuse, which we know is becoming rampant nowadays.
For most working mothers, these 2 stories are typical examples of their everyday life.
I, for instance, leave for work at 5:15 a.m. and then I get back home at sometimes past 8 p.m. So my child has been in the care of somebody for hours and they cannot give that level of care. So you have to always call, supervise, have them, check on them to make sure that things are done the way you want it.
Initially, it was very challenging. But what I did at that time was we have to plan roster. I had to take up a permanent night duty so that I can be home during the day to take care of the children. So when I'm about leaving, my husband must have been home. He takes over the duty. So this we did for some time, for some years. We did it for some years. Then we have relations, uncles who stay with us. They assisted. But in all, it takes the grace of God.
In a society that is increasingly becoming demanding on both the man and the woman to be financially independent, women are tasked with being full-time moms as well as full-time employees. As the founder of an educational facility that caters for children as young as 3 months to as old as 16, Bukola Fadayomi says she has seen how mothers' busy schedule can impact negatively on the children.
Sincerely, I think working mothers should have more time with their children for the bonding. I think it's more important. I've had a 3-month baby brought into a daycare, and the earliest they'll pick up such children is 6. So I ask myself, how do they bond? Yes, I know they have to go to work, but until the government says working mothers close early. I know some establishments do that, but some banks. I also had a parent who after 1 month had to rush back to work. She covered up 2 weeks extra because she was in the bank. And she wasn't given the maternity leave because she hadn't spent a year. She had started work before she realized she was pregnant and she needed the job. Also, such children, even the ones in the preschool, are not doing well because everything had been left in the care of house girls.
Unlike Ruby, most mothers cannot take their children to work and are forced to leave them in the care of crutches or nannies. Fadayomi is quick to point out that organizations would improve their workers' productivity if they catered to their basic needs as mothers.
I think that for any establishment that you have more than 30 women or 40 women, it isn't too much for a room to be created as a daycare. So I am appealing to large organizations that have more than 30 women on their list to create just one room for this, and then they will see a better production from the mothers, because then their minds are not somewhere else. Their minds are within the premise, in one place.
More women echo her sentiments.
What I will advise organizations to do, they can build a crèche. They can have a nursery somewhere. That if you have a baby and you are working, you can bring your baby to work and put that child in the nursery while you go and work. Now when it's time for you to breastfeed that child, you can take some minutes out and go and breastfeed that child and come back. Your mind is at peace. Your child is just beside you.
My company, for instance, has a policy now where most companies give 3 months maternity leave. My company does 4. And then when you resume after the 4 months, you close 1 hour earlier so that you can go be with your child and your home earlier. And that is a big thing. Those hours, those few hours given to us, those few more days, give you enough time so that when you come back to work, you are at more peace, having left that child in the care of somebody.
So does the managing director of a major organization with a higher percentage of female workers to men. Ola Oresonya has seen how having flexible working hours and childcare centers have positively impacted the productivity of his workers.
Women have to take the children to school, take care of the children in the morning and everything. So instead of resuming 8 and closing 4 or 5, we're like, you can resume 12 and close maybe 8 p.m. You can resume 10 and close. So we allow that flexi. And there are days we allow women to even work from home. If you're a secretary and you have to write minutes of meeting, you don't have to sit in the office to do that. You can sit in the house and work from home. So women who are pregnant, right, and nursing mothers, we allow flexi, and you'll be surprised at the output. It's usually very, very high. If you are not allowed to nurse or nurture your baby in the way you want, there's going to be a lot of distraction. And it's not just for the women alone, for the men too, because it's either the man is rushing to carry the baby from the crèche, or is the mother that will be running to carry the baby. So when you have a crèche in your office, women can spend longer hours and work joyfully that they know their baby is safe.
His experience with his own children inspired his organization's policies.
A few years back, about 28, 29 years back, when I was married, just got married, and we had our first baby, our first child. My wife had to resume 2 weeks after the baby because she just got a job. And taking the child to work, and she wasn't going to entrust the baby to any house girl and stuff like that. So I decided then, we started swinging the baby, so I would bring the baby to office. So I was coming with my baby to the office with the pram and the car and everything. Yes, take her to our office to breastfeed and come back. And I was quite conscious of what we went through that time, but it paid off.
In his words, it is just good business sense for employers to make allowances for family-related duties without fear of discrimination.
You are still watching A Woman's World, still to come.
My name is Zikwoko and I manage One Q Food Platter.
My name is Arisa Ugu and my blog is called smartmoneywitharisa.com.
My name is Oluwatosin Ajibade. People know me as Olu Girl, and I've been blogging for 5 years.
Blogs are everywhere. Bloggers can be anyone. On Trends, we look at the current fad of female bloggers as we meet with 3 of Nigeria's rising stars.
There is now a wealth of female bloggers writing about anything and everything you can think of. Women who have a voice and don't hesitate to use it, whether in the areas of food, finance, or general lifestyle. Blogs are typically informational sites published on the web and consisting of discrete entries, or more commonly called posts. These posts are usually displayed in beautiful designs and reverse chronological order.
In the last couple of years, I've observed what has been going on in the blogging arena, that's as far as food is concerned. And I saw that there's this challenge with Nigerian food and the health twist. And coming from my background as a nutritionist dietitian, I thought that, yeah, sure, I can have my eba or amala or pounded yam and have it healthy, or I can have my edikaikong and cook it in such a way that it's healthy. Coupled with the fact that my kids are grown and, I needed to do something, but something that would not take me out there. Food has always held some passion for me, and like I said, my background is nutrition and dietetics, so what a better way to express that and help a lot of women, to put nice and varied dishes and of course healthy ones on their table.
The beauty of blogging is in its variety. For Arese, food isn't her forte, finance is.
Helping people with their businesses, with their financial goals, it made me realize that there was a gap for young people in particular. We don't really like to read newspapers. Nobody wants to open a newspaper and start reading about what's happening in the economy. It's not something that young people are interested in. So I wanted to create a blog that talked about personal finance, but in a way that young people would relate to. So using stories and examples that they can say, oh, do you know what, that sounds like me. But at the end of the day, they would learn something from it. So how to budget, how to build assets, that kind of thing.
While many see blogging as a hobby, Tosin's blog is her full-time job.
My normal day is, it's very crazy because my schedule can be, it's not fine. There are times I have places to go to or things to do for the day. So I have my week planned
from Sunday to Monday, back to back. So I know what I'm doing on this day, I know what I'm doing on that day. I have a board in my house where I write all these things out so that I can remember. So usually when I wake up in the morning, I pray, and after praying, the next thing I take is my phone or my laptop. And then I check what's happening, because usually most of these international news do come out maybe when we are sleeping. So we have to catch up with what's happening with Kim Kardashian, with what's happening with Rihanna, Beyonce, who slapped who in the elevator, and all of that. So look for all those international stories, catch up, and then check what people are looking for again in Nigeria, stories that we've missed. And then my day has started, just like that. My day has started, so I do all of that. Then I go back to social media, update the Facebook page, Twitter page, Instagram, Google+, and it's like that. It's just a circle, and till maybe 1 a.m., 2 a.m., and then I go back to bed, and I wake up the next morning by 5 or 6, I'm back again to my routine.
As with all other stories in life, there is a beginning.
My daughter started blogging before me, hers is called Afrolems. And so she was on for about 18 months before I started. And I thought to myself, I wanted something to occupy myself at weekends. And like I said, I had started seeing what was happening in the blogging sphere. And I thought I could bring some years of knowledge in this area into, the blogging arena. And I see that I'm doing just that at the moment.
My aha moment came one night. In the middle of the night, I started thinking about, I don't know why, but I just had this topic in my head, a Chanel bag versus a stock portfolio. And I was like, that's a very catchy heading. What if I write an article, around that? It might be something that would interest young people. So I did it, and it was very fascinating. I was, amazed by the response. And yeah, it's been very interesting so far.
Whether due to the demands of a full-time job or other engagements, the will to continue blogging often requires some sort of dedication.
That's what I spend my weekends doing. I cook, I style, and I photograph all my dishes, by the way. So I don't have the luxury of keeping a photographer because I'm also quite spontaneous. Sometimes at 9 p.m. I could think of something I've created out of foods generally available to us, and I'm dashing into the kitchen. And at that point, I can't have a photographer living with me. So, but I try to plan these days. I plan my work over the weekend. And guess what? I use Lagos traffic to write most of my posts. So when I'm coming to work in the morning, since I'm being driven, I do all my posts, in the mornings or in the evening when I'm going back home. And then weekends I do cooking, photographing, and styling.
Though it's not always a roller coaster ride, blogging has its moments. These bloggers have had reasons to feel elated about their blogs and the messages they pass across to people.
I'm not earning anything from the blog, but what I'm earning is the satisfaction of consumers writing back, telling me I tried your dish and this is what it is. For instance, the last dish I posted, which was fruity French toast, I got a comment from somebody this morning saying that she tried it, it worked, and guess what? The husband was asking, he needs to have that to take to work. What more can I ask for? Those are the kind of things that keep me going.
Well, the responses that I get from a lot of readers, people sending me, emails telling me, oh my God, I used this tool that you talked about in your article, or this really helped me. I was in debt and I came out of it because I now had a plan, or I started to think about my money and my income differently. Those kind of things really make me feel like it's worth it to keep writing and keep helping people. It feels like it's making a positive impact.
It is no news that women are making their stand in the blogosphere, as their impact is perceived differently by people.
Over 5 years now, blogging has been paying my bills. It has been doing a lot of things for me. It has opened, doors for me. I've been to places that, even if I'm doing a 9-to-5 job, it won't take me there. I've been to places outside Lagos. I've been to places within Nigeria, and it's what happened. It was from blogging. It has opened a lot of doors. So for other women to their passion, actually push them to where they are, they are strong will to hold on to the job to continue. Yes.
Take for instance, I'm a young lady from Oyo State, married to somebody from Anambra State. We both grew up in Lagos. It's not likely that I'll know the dishes from Anambra State. And therefore, all the nice things my mother-in-law was cooking for my husband, I wouldn't know. So guess what? What the blogs have done for such a lady is that she has quick access to information.
With some wealth of experience, no matter how little, here are some tips for blogging from one blogger to another.
That online space is really growing, and there's going to be more space in the future for niche industries. So I don't think that many people were doing personal finance blogs as in before, but this is what I'm passionate about. So I think people can find what they're passionate about. It doesn't have to be, the entertainment and gossip type blogs, which is what is available right now, but people can find things that they're passionate about that they can teach other people and create blogs out of it.
Creativity. Be creative, no matter what, be creative.
Before jumping in there is to ask yourself, where am I ending with all of this? Where do I want to get to? What's the purpose? Is it for money? Is it for passion? But also you have to understand a bit about the technicalities of search engine optimization. How do you grow content? I can search for egusi soup in so many places. So many bloggers have egusi soup, but the point is, why should they see the egusi soup on my own blog? It's about content. It's about how did I present the egusi soup? What more am I telling this consumer about egusi soup?
Next is a little something to help make choosing the perfect birthday gift as easy as ABC. Birthdays are special to many people. Here are a few tips to help you choose the right presents for family and friends. The bond between parents and children is incredible, and so to wow your mom and dad, give their house a subtle makeover by changing their old curtains or throw around pillows and lamps. Try not to do too much at once because it's their house after all and not yours. Another idea is a handwritten letter to convey your deepest feelings, or a photo album to keep more photos and memories. And now for that special hymn, that's your husband or fiancé. Go for male accessories like wristwatches, cufflinks, and shoes. For a tech-inclined person, a good flash drive is also not a bad idea. Got any children around you? Give them storybooks to help develop their reading skills. There are also lots of children toys and games that can be so much fun for kids while they learn as well. However, if that still doesn't work for you, try a wristwatch. Do not forget your girlfriends. Reaffirm your friendship with that friend of yours by conferring on her the ownership of a nice piece of jewelry, a handbag, or a blazer. However, if you'd prefer to walk a different path, consider giving her a shopping coupon or a trip to the spa. That's a treasured female ritual. And finally, for colleagues at your workplace, you don't want to get too personal, but still would like to be seen as thoughtful. A thermos cup strikes that balance. Your colleague will thank you in their mind every time they sip their coffee or tea. Journals too are also another idea for such occasions. Although if the celebrant is more of a gadget lover, you might want to consider a gadget pouch. And that's all we have for you on A Woman's World. Hope to see you next time.